you very much for registrations and coming here, taking important part of your week's time. The topic today is going to be from warehouse chaos to control, how 3PLs can scale profitably with an integrated WMS and TMS, that's warehouse management system and transport management system. Uh, Today, we have three of us who's going to walk you through the details. I'm Jay Tahsildar, founder and managing director at Mercurius IT. I do have two of my colleagues, Max from Boltrics. He's joining us from Netherlands today. He is international business development manager at Boltrics. And my colleague Ishan Patel from Mercurius, who's senior manager, solution architect for Dynamics 365 3PL solution. Let me just take a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit more about Mercurius IT, and then of course Max will talk more about Boltrics as well. As you can see from this screen, Mercurius is 21 years old business, started in Milton Keynes in 2005 February. We have 300 plus engagements till date in different areas of Microsoft Dynamics. We have been leading Microsoft UK partners, 4 times award winner, have been winning awards in our cohort for last 4 years continuously. And we cover everything from ERP, CRM, Power Platform, as well as Azure solutions. And in ERP itself, we have coverage for our third-party logistics solution. As a good company, good partner, you would expect we are Microsoft certified, we are ISO 27001 certified, we are Cyber Essential Plus certified, and of course, my favorite, those four award winners, Partner of the Year awards since 22 till 25. And this screen will quickly show you that the spread that we have in our solutions and services. We cover ERPs, F&O and Business Central, and as you perhaps would know, Boltrics is a 3PL solution built by Boltrics on Business Central as a platform. We cover all flavors of Dynamics 365 CRM. Next pillar is our Copilot and Power Platform solutions. And of course, the last one, all things Azure Cloud. And to support those four solutions, we have four services pillars: business consulting, application development, post-implementation BAU, business as usual support, as we brand it MaxCare support, and of course, managed services. And before I hand it over to Max, I thought I'll just give you a big picture on Microsoft solutions. As you can see, Microsoft Dynamics 365 product suite covers everything from ERP to CRM to HR. And of course, the Boltrics solution, the 3PL solution that we are going to present today, is built on Dynamics 365 Business Central, Microsoft's most popular ERP solution. With that, let me hand it over to you, Max. If you could introduce yourself and take it on.
Right, Jay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Max van Middendorp from Boltrics, Business Development Manager, working together with Mercurius IT today for this webinar. In the meantime, I think I need some sharing rights to share my part of the presentation. Still waiting for access to that, but
or Ishan can share them.
That's all. Yeah. I see I am now able to. So perfect. I think you can see my screen, and I would like to take some time to introduce Boltrics to our listeners before we move on towards Ishan. And what I would like to start about is a bit the story about Boltrics and what we do. So back in 2010 in the Netherlands, logistics service providers were under quite some pressure. And one of the reasons we saw that pressure was because of the IT systems slowing them down. Because during that time, it was the status quo to invest in heavily customized systems, which resulted in many different parties having to reinvent the wheel themselves. And at a certain point, a few cold chain leaders made a bold decision. Instead of solving the same problem individually, they asked, what if we share resources and build one standard for the entire industry? And that ID became Boltrics. And that changed the vision. So no more custom built solutions, but one shared industry solution that continuously evolves with the industry. And crucially also, it's built on a platform that ensures continuous future readiness, which together with the industry was decided to be Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Because if you want to be future proof, you don't want to reinvent the technology yourself. And that's why also together we choose to leverage a global platform that can guarantee innovation, security, and scalability. And on top of that Microsoft Foundation, Boltrics has built its industry layer, where we started in the cold chain back in 2010, together with the Industry Association, the COVRI in the Netherlands. We were also made a guarantee that if by some unfortunate event, for example, Boltrics would cease to exist, the intellectual property of the industry solution will go back to the industry and its user group, ensuring also future continuity for this solution. So the solution expanded from cold storage into also 3PL warehousing, transport, freight forwarding, and ultimately creating one integrated platform for the full 3PL operation. And what makes it this a powerful model is that Boltrix develops and maintains the software, but it's not for one company, but for the entire industry. Every improvement that we do to the solution is shared across the whole group. Every innovation benefits our users. It's like a peloton in cycling. The group will always move faster than an individual could on its own. And that's a breath of fresh air we can bring to the table for this industry. And with this methodology, our mission is to create more value to more customers in less time, and it's proved to be successful. Fast forward to today, 2026, the Boltrix Peloton is 440 customers wide, available in 46 countries, and known in more than 7,500 users. And what you're seeing now is the architecture that supports the scalable growth for your business. So at the core, what we see down below, that's the architecture Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. Microsoft provides the platform foundation on which we build the software. That means that you benefit from Microsoft technology, security, innovation, combined with industry-specific logistics software integrated in one environment. On top of that foundation, more than 400 plus installations are running on the exact same code base. Everyone is always on the latest version of that solution without complex and time-consuming upgrades or migrations. While at the same time, each customer, and I think this is really important, operates with a unique configuration tailored to their business. So you get standardization on a platform level, but flexibility on the operational level. Then we have the solution divided into 3 fully integrated domains: the warehouse management, transport management, and freight forwarding management solution, all including contract and billing. And within the warehouse management system, we support multi-client warehousing flows. You work with standard logistic objects such as the inbound order, outbound order locations, but everything around these objects, that's driven by workflows. You decide your workflows and match it against the industry best practices and your operational reality. And over more than 15 years, what we have done is we have built extensive function libraries that can be connected to the workflows, ensuring that you have that flexibility and a unique configuration that fits your business processes. Then we have the transport management system, where we focus on logistics service providers that operate their own transport fleet. Orders that enter the system, they have to be planned visually or fully automated. You allocate your right resources, and it's followed up throughout the execution. This includes, for example, advanced planning logic, integrations with your onboard computer, real-life status updates, ETA communications with the end customer, but also emission reporting. The system is also here modular by design. So you only use and pay for what you need today, and you can easily extend that setup when you grow your business without the need for complex re-implementations. Then we have the last pillar on the right side, which is for freight forwarding and forwarding operations. So the focus shifts here towards multimodal logistics, managing import, export flow, different parties, documents, milestones, and within one configurable shipment document structure, you define the different order types which require which modalities, while automating communication around ETAs, custom declaration, shipping bookings, and documentation. Then finally, on top of all these integrated layers, there is an additional value layer that is relevant across the different verticals. This includes, for example, an app platform where you can configure scanning processes directly within the solution, a driver app where you can communicate with your drivers, such as having proof of delivery or exception management, and also a customer and vendor portal that can keep the parties involved and give insights into what's happening in the operation. So fully managed from one system. And I think with that, I want to give the presentation towards Ishan. And thank you very much for having me today on this webinar.
Thank you, Max. Morning again, everyone. And thank you for the introduction to the Boltrics platform and the application suite, Max. Okay, let's talk about the agenda for today's webinar, which is why chaos happens in the industry when we work with multiple clients. So the most chaos isn't because the people aren't working hard or the processes are not set. It is because the growth increases the complexity faster than the system can absorb. Meaning, 3PL complexities aren't linear. So, for instance, if you add a new customer, then you just don't add 10% complexities. What you actually see is new rules, new billing, new SLAs, new carriers, new labels, cutoff times, and new exceptions. And that's where the chaos starts. The core issue is the warehouse and transport are often managed as separate worlds. So how they communicate is either via email or with combination of some Excel spreadsheets in combination with tribal knowledge. And that's where the control breaks. So typical symptoms of chaos are always firefighting, reactive instead of proactive, late dispatch just because the picking priorities were not set correctly or couldn't communicate it correctly in time. Reverse of that, because of picking priorities, logistics had to change their plans. Labels or carrier information was with a specific person, ended up with wrong printing of labels and rework, again resulting in delays. Billing disputes. So if the invoicing is not centralized when it is system configured, depending on what tasks user does, system identifies and creates the invoice. And if that's again manual, then adds up discrepancies, and this all adds to customer escalations. Where is my stock, and why are we expecting delays? To conclude, chaos doesn't just create cost, it creates unpredictability, and that kills the scale, that slows the scale. How do we get control over the chaos? Control doesn't mean rigid processes. In 3PL, control means you can run flexible operations with predictable outcomes. So, in simple words, control is when you can answer in seconds about status of an order, what are potential risk for today, how you can plan your labor and capacity plan effectively, what is shipping and when, by who, what will be invoice and why. If you can answer everything in seconds, you are in control. 5 pillars of control, which are operational visibility. So having operational visibility means you can prioritize your work to meet the timelines. Standardized execution, meaning you're not dependent on John to do something, to do a customer setup, which could lead to the process completion. It's more system driven, so anyone logging in can do the things. Exceptions handling. Uh, in case something doesn't go as expected, you still have alerts in place, or a dashboard which can give you insight about what can go wrong, and work beforehand rather than late to get the control back. Synchronization between warehouse and transport. And that's very important, because now we are dealing with 2 different parties working with different priorities, of course. So if they are not interlinked, they would end up doing with their own priorities, which are not in synchronization, and leading to a lot of delays and chaos cost. And once we have gained control on these, we could have better control on the profitability. So the question is, how do you move from chaos to control without slowing the business down? And the answer lies in integrating or synchronizing warehouse and transport. So with Boltrics, it sits on same platform. So you don't need to integrate them. They just seamlessly talk to each other. It's a very first thing that we can think about. In many 3PLs, warehouse finishes the work, and then it's transport duty to figure out shipping. And the delay costs money every single day. Integration means the transport plan is informed by warehouse reality, and warehouse priorities are informed by transport constraints. So if we don't see this synchronization in place, what do we see is, if it is not synchronized, warehouse will pick the oldest order first. Whereas transport priorities are carrier cutoff, route consolidation, irrespective of what is already picked, and how the warehouse performs, what are warehouse constraints. The result is late dispatch, late loads, expensive express shipments to meet the timelines, missed cutoffs, and chaos. What we can potentially achieve with integration is pick pack priorities are translated, are sent from transport to warehouse. So instead of always picking the oldest order first, pick the one which is going out at some time, so that warehouse can optimally use the marshal or staging area and move the goods faster. Depending on warehouse constraints, the transport team is notified right in time to plan with better consolidation where it is possible. So if someday a warehouse is moving ahead with the time, the transport gets notified with the statuses of order, and they still have chance to consolidate in the existing load, if that makes sense. resulting in fewer exceptions, lower cost per shipments, and more importantly, what we see now, more requests from the end customer to see one invoice for all services done by a 3PL. So for an end customer, what 3PL does is warehouse management and transport management. Hence, they expect one invoice with all the services listed into it, whereas 3PL still have option to have one invoice, but having cost and revenues parked into different balance sheet accounts. So that's what we see with synchronized integration with it. Let's have a brief walk through the product, how it looks when we try to do that, and then there are some of the topics that we will cover today. With considering the time we have, it may not be too detailed, but you can always reach out to us to have a tailored demo and a detailed discussion on the things that you would like to take up. For now, let me start with sharing my screen again with the product, how it looks. So it is a SaaS-based solution, meaning don't need to. It doesn't require any installation or thing. It's just a new web bookmark link saved in your browser. You have your Office credentials which you use to log in, and you log in into the system. And the first thing that you see is the role center, which I see as a digital representation of order processor's desk. So if you typically see someone's desk, it has different set of documents, something to be done today, to be done tomorrow, depending on customers. And that's exactly what is digital representation of those segregated documents. What I see is as a warehouse order processor, what are the tasks in the system right now, and I can decide what each queue should be looking at. So for now, what I see is number of receipts, shipments, how many of them are processing on the bay, unloading. So I can decide what I want to see on my role center and see the numbers. I could also set some logics that, okay, if the number goes above a certain number, which I can see right now, two discrepancies, then it should be a red flag. I can highlight, it can highlight to me and I can work on that. The good thing is it's just not number, but you can actually click on the number, which will take you to the list of document which makes up that number, and takes me to the list of documents, and I can deep dive until I'm having sufficient information that suffices my requirement to check that. Coming back to the role center, when I say role center, meaning it is a rule-based solution. So I can have different rules created in the system. Each role can have their own role center configured, showing the information that is most relevant to the group of people. That means a role can be shared between users. So a role can be for order processors, a role can be for customer service team, a role can be for warehouse manager, and that could have their own role centers showing the information that is most relevant to them to take decisions for that day. Yeah, I would change my role now to TMS order processor, and I will go to a company that is most relevant for today's demo to show the synchronization between warehouse and transport department. Right. So I'll skip the inbound part because I want to focus more on shipments, consolidations, and the talk between transport and warehouse. So I would first go to shipment list, and that I can find from the search. You don't need to remember what exactly you're looking for. You can type in what you're looking for, and it determines what could be that. I'll quickly open one of the shipment. So the shipment can be created with various ways. Uh, One of them is AI-driven Outlook integration, which scans your email information, pre-populates that into a Business Central screen on the Outlook, and then it can convert that into order. It could be your customers can be sending the information in PDF format as delivery note, and that can be scanned via Azure tools, which can push that information as order into system. It can be via EDI integration, whereas two systems are integrated to each other. The Boltrics is built on Business Central, which offers API-based integration, so it can talk to any system that offers capabilities and connect via EDI to create orders, to send notifications about order confirmation or dispatch confirmation, etc. If these are not the options, we call the next one is manual EDI, which is if the customer can send the information in Excel format, we can import, configure that Excel format into Boltrics that could convert Excel information into orders. So several ways, almost covering everything that we have as on today on technology to create the order. So once we have the order created, it has more what customer for which the order is and what is the destination to which it has to be delivered. External references. What are the delivery dates for this order to be shipped? And who is going to take care of the delivery part of it? So if it is own logistics, it's something to be managed by internal transport department, or it can be managed via external available carriers. And depending on what you select here, the next actions are determined. The item and the quantities that are expected entered on the order. You can see here a field called status, which is new now. So it is a workflow based solution wherein during the implementation, we understand and create workflow that best suits your processes. So we start with a standard workflow and that is tailored based on each business. So to go to move ahead, I change the status to next, which will go to the next status for this order, which is 20 available. You must have noticed the TMS order number is populated with that, and that is by using the status template, which is workflow driven. So these are the statuses through which a shipment will go through. These are based in my opinion, and I configured it this way. This can be tailored as per your requirement and need. Here, there are some numbers on each status. each number represents a process that can be automated using status. In this case, I automated the process of creating transport order depending on the shipping agent code. It could be an email trigger. It could be checking mandatory information that you want the order must have before it goes to processing. It could be printing documents. So it could be any action that can be automated with system. You can automate that with status changes. Yes. So far, so good. Feel free to post your questions if you have any. We would like to cover them at the end of the demo. But yes, feel free to drop them. So that's the shipment. I would now move on to the transport order to see what information we see there. Okay. And that's my transport order. So it is created from a shipment, and that I can find in the linked documents that what are the document interlinked. It belongs to this customer. External document references to identify which customer documents represent this document in our system. Shipping information. So it is fulfilled from one of the warehouse to a location in Liverpool with the information of when to be fulfilled, goods to be fulfilled. So this is for 2 chap pallets, and depending on the number of pallet type, it can calculate the equivalent load meter for the planner to determine how much space it can occupy. And this information is useful to plan the orders into trip. But for now, I think this is enough that when we enter item and enter number of which pallet type is expected, it transforms them into load meter, and the order can be planned later on accordingly. Okay. Other key information is plant department, which can be determined depending on the to address. So plant department is basically group of planners responsible to plan within that area or region. So for example, for UK, if you have planner dedicatedly planning for Midlands and North, then you can have 2 plant departments, Midland and North, and you can bifurcate the orders, or you can tag the orders with plant department, Midland and North, depending on the destinations postcode, for example, and then it can tag, okay, this order belongs to Midland or this belongs to North, and the planner only sees those orders which are tagged with the plant department. The next is plan box, which is used to pre-planning for the planner. So the plan box is linked to area code. I would like to go a little detail into area. That area consists of group of postcodes or regions, and each area code is linked to a plan box. So within Midlands, I can create area codes and plan box that can pre-plan the orders that are going to same destination. So for example, all the orders that are going in Manchester area, for example, I can create a plan box representing that. So in this case, I have created one for Birmingham. So all the orders which are going to Birmingham or within that proximity of Birmingham, which I can define in this area code, are tagged on a status change with status function to update the plan box. And this information can pre-plan or pre-group the orders. So it proposes me that, okay, all these orders having same plan box number are together, and I can utilize that information to plan faster. So that's something we can pre-populate depending on the status function and statuses that we've seen. So with shipment, we show how it works. The same status functions are applicable for transport orders. So these are on all the document types within Boltrics to follow the workflow based system and to add the status functions to automate some of the user tasks. Yes, so that's the order. Okay, so same as shipment, I would change the status to next, and it gives me error that, okay, plan department is mandatory. I had kept this intentionally to show how you can determine if every information that you need is entered over there or not. I selected it and change it to next status, which is released, meaning now it is available for the planner to plan the order sections into trip. There is a concept called section. So each order creates sections to give you introduction or what is section is a plannable element of an order. So in this case, I have taken an example that, okay, if I am planning an order from Dartford to Manchester, and there is no via address in this case, then it will create one section for me to be planned, which will be for Dartford till Manchester, and I'll plan this order with one section. Imagine you have multiple depots in a country, and then you want to select this order will be fulfilled via this depot, groupage or collection order. So in this case, the same order will be from Dartford to Manchester. It will be fulfilled via a depot in Milton Keynes. In this case, system will create two sections for a planner to plan. One to move the goods from Dartford to Milton Keynes, and another to move the goods from Milton Keynes to Manchester finally. And that's the sections that it will create depending on the section configuration that you select. And the planner can plan things accordingly. And these actions are configured ones, and then using status flow, status template, and status functions can be automated to be done every time. Okay,